The chosen one. You reached at this point not by chance, but by divine purpose. This communication arrived just when you needed it. As you sit here listening to what I'm about to say, I want you to feel the seriousness of the situation. You are being urged to recall who you actually are and why your journey has been so unique from others. You're not here by chance. You are here because you were selected by God. You are one of the few individuals who have been designated with a sacred destiny and are navigating a world that seldom understands you. And now, you're going to uncover a truth that will propel you to a new degree of spiritual enlightenment. The chosen one. You've always sensed it deep inside your soul. That stirring, that knowing, that little voice whispering to you that you are unlike the others. You've known about the disconnect, the invisible barrier between you and the rest of the world, since you were a child. Whatever you did to blend in, something kept you apart. You felt lonely, isolated, and spiritually hungry, which no one seemed to be able to please. What if I told you that this was never a curse, but rather a divine calling? What if I told you that you were never supposed to fit in, but rather to stand out? This message is a key, a revelation. It will help you understand why you decided. One cannot be around a large number of people, and this knowledge serves as spiritual armor rather than a burden. As the world becomes increasingly noisy, chaotic, and embroiled in confusion, your route is getting clearer and your objective more focused. The supernatural has always safeguarded you by putting you away, restricting who may approach you, and letting you suffer the pain of solitude so that you are compelled to go inside. This is the holy plan for your path, and today we will travel through it together. You see, being a chosen one is more than just a title. It's a divine appointment. It is an awakening of your soul to a greater purpose and a better awareness of who you actually are. And this position comes with a lot of responsibility. You carry an uncommon frequency. You vibrate at a frequency that many around you cannot grasp. As a result, being around too many people will get overwhelming. I'm pressing in on your spirit. Have you ever noticed how walking into a busy space may make you feel tired or out of place, as if the air is too thick to breathe? This is not a coincidence. This demonstrates spiritual awareness. This is spiritual knowledge at work. Warning, protecting. You choose one. You are the source of light in the darkness. You are a gentle light amid a world of winds. People around you often fail to see your radiance because they have yet to discover their own. As a result, they will unwittingly attempt to draw you into their uncertainty and mayhem, into their spiritual rest. But you weren't supposed to sleep with them. You were summoned to awaken. And because you are awake in a sleeping world, the divine has imposed some constraints on your trip, not to confine you, but to protect you. This message will strike a chord deep inside your spirit. I already know it. That's because this is more than simply information. This is a confirmation. You've wondered why being among too many people is so tiring and unpleasant. You questioned yourself, wondering if there was anything wrong with you. Let me assure you that you are perfectly fine. You are a selected one, separated for a cause. The reason you can't be around many people isn't because you're antisocial or frigid. It is because your energy is precious and the divine protects it. Before we go further into this reality, I'd want you to stop with me and experience it in your heart. Feel how your soul reacts to these words. This is your awakening moment. A piece of the puzzle is falling into place. And now I'd want you to connect with this wonderful message. If this resonates with you, if you feel a pull in your soul, I ask you to leave a remark. Look down below. Let me know you're here. Please notify me that you have received this, and let the world know that the chosen ones are rising. Stay with me to the finish of the message, because what I'm going to say will provide clarity to your trip, peace to your spirit, and strength to your trek. You are on the road of the selected, led by the invisible hand of the Most High. And now, that hand has guided you to this truth, this light. Let's proceed. The chosen one. Your destiny is beckoning the chosen one. Let us now discover who you actually are on a fundamental level. You've heard this word before, the chosen one. But do you completely understand what it means to be ridiculed, set aside, and chosen by God? This isn't just a label or a fancy term to boost the ego. No, this is a divine ordination. To be a chosen one means walking a hallowed and ancient path, full of purpose, load, and spiritual responsibilities. You're not ordinary, and you never were. Even before you were born, your soul's blueprint was different. The Creator created you as a vessel, a message, and a fighter to stand between the visible and the unseen, light and darkness. Many individuals wander this planet unknowingly. I am lost in the illusions of the material world. But you picked one and have been granted spiritual sight. You can see beyond the veils that obscure others. You can sense the energy, intents, and unsaid statements lingering in the spaces surrounding you. This increased awareness is both a blessing and a burden to bear. It separates you from the throng while simultaneously elevating you above the noise. Your soul was created to detect what others cannot, to feel storms before they develop, and to serve as a lighthouse when the winds begin to scream from a young age. You may have noticed a change. You never quite fit into the mold. You saw through the falsehoods that others accepted without question, but your contemporaries were readily seduced by fads, diversions, and superficial hobbies. Your spirit desired something deeper, more authentic, and everlasting. There were times when you felt like you were carrying a burden that no one else could see. A quiet weight rests on your shoulders. This was the quiet signature of the selected ones. You are a spiritual leader, whether you know it or not. Your path is not about fitting in with the crowd, but about following the narrow, lonely route to a greater cause. The selected one will brave the storm as others flee for safety. The one who will tell the truth while others keep hushed for fear. You were chosen to disrupt the current quo, to question the structures that hold souls captive, and to awaken those who are ready to rise. But make no mistake, this vocation entails spiritual battle, resistance, and intense difficulties. This is why you were set aside from the start. Your spiritual enlightenment has only verified what you've always felt. You were born for more. The divine has spoken with you via dreams, signs, and synchronicities. As you wake up, you realize that this is not your house. You're here on assignment, a transitory traveler with old wisdom in a contemporary world. Your frequency is unusual. Your character was purified like precious gold by the flames of affliction. That is why you stand out, even when you strive to fit in. The brightness within you is evident and cannot be diminished. The chosen one. When ancient writings mention the remnant, prophets, anointed, or watchmen on the wall, they are referring to you. You were meant to pursue this road long before your physical form reached this world. There is a lineage of spiritual fighters who came before you, including seers, sages, healers, and instructors. And you are among them. The loneliness you experienced, as well as the isolation from the masses, are not punishments. It is preparation, because no chosen one can accomplish their purpose until they have been purified in the desert and learned to stand on their own. Because you were selected by God, you have a fundamental obligation to respect your spiritual awareness. The Most High has stamped His mark on you. Therefore, you cannot be like everyone else. Even if you want to, your energy is valuable, and the supernatural has concealed you in plain sight, shielding you from situations and people who cannot bear the weight of your destiny. You are not here to get popular. You came here with a reason. You're not here to be loved by the masses. You came to be a lighthouse, helping lost souls return to the truth. This journey you are traveling is not simple, but it is complete. Many people will never understand why you behave in the manner you do. Why do you withdraw when others gather? Why are you able to detect things others cannot? However, such is the character of the chosen one. You're wired differently. The Most High created your spirit with layers of insight, judgment, and inner power that others may never understand. Because of this, you must accept your journey's individuality. The chosen one. Your time wondering why I'm here is done. The solution is obvious since you are marked. You're required, and you are divinely given a mission. Only you can fulfill accepted, so go bravely with it, knowing that even when you feel alone, you are divinely escorted by the presence of the Most High. The sense of seclusion from the throng is a proof of your dedication. As we go through this precious message, you will begin to realize why your soul cannot survive in the midst of the crowds. There's a reason why your energy conflicts with the majority. The next revelation will make it all very apparent. The chosen one. Let me now explain a fact that many will never understand. Nonetheless, it is inscribed in the fabric of your own being. You and the masses have an energy mismatch that extends deep into the spiritual plane, since you vibrate at a rare, powerful, and holy frequency. The ordinary individual around you vibrates at a world-conditioned frequency, formed by fear, ego, materialism, and unconscious habits. However, you, chosen one, have been triggered by a greater calling, and this awakening has altered your whole energy field. What was the result? A disconnect, a natural opposition between your heavenly frequency and the cacophony of the mass. Have you noticed how certain rooms seem suffocating? How can some crowds make your chest feel heavy, even when no words are spoken? This is the quiet conflict your soul fights every day. When you enter situations with unresolved trauma, spiritual sleep, and chaotic energy, you are awakened. Souls feel everything all at once. The normal individual is ignorant of these vibrations, but you may feel them as harsh breezes striking exposed flesh. This isn't your imagination. This demonstrates spiritual awareness. This is your divine talent at work, directing you to areas where your light is being met with opposition. The people, despite their good intentions, are engulfed in dense energy. It represents the energy of fear, competitiveness, jealousy, gossip, judgment, and unconscious behavior. External impacts on frequency include media, society conventions, hereditary curses, and unhealed hurts. But you picked one that carries your pure frequency. Your spiritual awakening has cleaned your field, bringing you closer to the divine source and less into the matrix of illusions. As a result, when your enhanced frequency interacts with the mass's lower vibrations, friction occurs. It's like attempting to combine oil and water. They were never intended to combine. This friction is why you often feel exhausted after being among huge gatherings of people. Your energy is being greeted with pushback, resistance, and sometimes even animosity, all without a word being said. The unconscious mentality of the masses detects your light. Even if their conscious thoughts disagree, you may look weird, disconnected, or threatening to them. Yet deep down, they sense that you are carrying something unique, something they cannot completely comprehend. And since it often instills anxiety, you may become a quiet target for projecting judgment or exclusion. The chosen one. This energetic mismatch isn't personal. It's spiritual. Your frequency, tuned through hardships, awakenings, and divine insights, naturally reveals what others keep concealed. You throw light into darkness, and many people are unwilling to face what is hidden there. Your presence disrupts sluggish energy. It shakes free the masks people wear and threaten the comfort of the illusion they have created for themselves. Without attempting, you awaken hidden energy in others. This might make others uncomfortable, defensive, or even hostile toward you. This explains why you often feel misunderstood. Why do people occasionally retreat from you without reason? Or why are you the target of envy? Even if you have nothing but serenity in your heart, the energy you emit cannot be disguised. It pierces through appearances and exposes the reality. Those who are not ready to awaken will reject this light, whilst those who are will be attracted to you like moths to a flame. This is why you've had unexpected separations, betrayals, or unexplainable tension with particular individuals. It is not the one you choose. It's the frequency you carry. Have you ever noticed how strangers will dump their darkest concerns or hurts on you within a few minutes of meeting you? Or how others will seek your advice, presence, and knowledge, only to turn away when the reality becomes too hard to handle? This is the cost of carrying divine energy in a world engulfed in spiritual forgetfulness. Your spirit operates like a mirror, reflecting both the beauty and the brokenness of others. Not everyone is prepared to confront what they see when they glance in the mirror. On a deeper level, this energy imbalance serves as divine protection. The Most High has constructed it so that you cannot completely integrate into the collective. This spiritual pain acts as a barrier, stopping you from merging into situations that will strangle your mission. Others may lose themselves amid crowds. You are supposed to stay sovereign, aware, and tuned into God's voice. The less distractions you have, the clearer your relationship to the divine will become. Chosen one, you've probably felt an intangible tug back to isolation after being surrounded by too many people. That's your soul retiring to maintain its energy. Every time you rejoin the silence, every time you return to your holy sanctuary, you reset the most powerful recharges, washing away the residue of the chaotic energies you've met. Without this isolation, this holy separation, you risk losing your soul in a sea of unconscious energy. But know this, the energy mismatch you're experiencing is a sign of your awakening and divine destiny. It signifies you're walking in accordance with your larger purpose. This universe is like a selected symphony, but not all of the instruments are at the same pitch. Your instrument was tuned by heaven, and as a result, your tone does not always accord with the discordant clamor of the multitude. However, this sound, the frequency you produce, is required to cut through the chaos and inform people that there is more than what their eyes can see. So, when you sense that weight, when you feel spiritually smothered in crowds or in specific settings, recognize it for what it is. It's not a weakness. This is not antisocial conduct. This is heavenly insight. It's your soul reminding you that you're not meant to move like the majority. You were created to ascend beyond them in the next stage of this great insight. We will discuss how this divine misalignment is not punishment, but rather protection, and how in isolation you will realize the full power of your purpose as a chosen one. Stay with me as we continue to uncover the knowledge tailored just to you. The chosen one, hear me clearly now. Your seclusion is not an accident, nor is it a punishment. It's heavenly protection. The loneliness you've felt, and the many times you've pondered why you appear to be walking this journey alone, are all part of a holy plan. You have been selected by God, and your paths are meticulously planned. The Most High has hidden you from the people, not to deprive you of friendship, but to protect your soul from diversions and spiritual assaults that may jeopardize your purpose. You know, seclusion is an old pattern for the selected ones. Consider the tales of past prophets, sages, and CEOs who were chosen from among the people before being assigned to rule. They were initially dispatched into the woods. Moses traveled in the wilderness. Elijah hid in caverns. Even Christ went to the mountains and the garden in search of solitude and nourishment in order to converse with God. This is no coincidence. The chosen one, the wilderness, lonely regions, and seclusion are where the Most High refines his troops, sharpening their discernment and strengthening their bond with him. When you are alone, you are in a holy area where your soul may breathe freely, unaffected by the collective's noise and chaos. Your abilities become more fully realized in seclusion. Your intuition becomes sharper, and your vision gets clearer. Without the outer world's clamor drowning out God's whispers, you become closely connected to your heavenly duty, the chosen one. The divine has put you in solitude because there are things he needs to communicate to you privately, away from the commotion and distractions that might dilute your mission. The fact is that many of the individuals you've sought to keep close were not on your side. Some may have accidentally or purposefully guided you away from your goal. Others held energy that may have ensnared your spirit and prevented your ascent. Because of your sensitivity as a chosen one, even a single improper connection may drain your vitality and hinder your spiritual development. This is why, in his kindness, the divine has withdrawn some individuals from your life, like locked doors that you previously passionately strove to open, and has put you in periods of seclusion. The chosen one, this loneliness is your training ground. This is where spiritual warriors are developed in solitude. You are no longer under the spell of communal thought. Instead, you are shaped by divine understanding and instructed by the Most High himself. There is power in this secret season when no one is looking. When the cacophony disappears, you become spiritually unshakable. This is where you'll learn to stand alone, dressed with celestial armor, unwavering even in the midst of a storm. Have you noticed how much more connected you are to your soul when you are alone? How can you get clearer downloads of knowledge, visions, and prophetic insights during those peaceful moments? That is because your seclusion is an open heaven, a hallowed altar where the Most High meets you in complete alone. Your perception is heightened, and you begin to perceive people and circumstances for who they actually are, rather than what they show themselves as. The curtain is lifted, and the truth is exposed, but only for the chosen one. Isolation does not imply loneliness in the spiritual sense. Even if your physical circle is limited or even empty at times, you are encircled by heavenly presence. The most elevated walks with you. Angels have tended to you, and heaven is always watching over you. Many selected ones see this solitude as abandonment. However, you are now more protected than ever before. The world may not notice you, but heaven recognizes your name. This holy divide also serves as a barrier against the spiritual conflict that rages around you. Crowded locations, disorganized energies, and the masses' unconscious minds are often used as entrance sites for spiritual assaults, diversions, and energy drain. Your light is a beacon that attracts both the righteous and those who want to dull it in solitude. The divine reduces these dangers. You are put in a secluded location, out of reach of anyone who may attempt to influence, drain, or disrupt your objective. Chosen one, the world does not always understand High's methods. But look attentively, and you'll see the pattern. Before elevation comes separation. Before insight comes loneliness. This is a heavenly command. It is a sign that your spirit is being readied for something bigger, something that demands you to be completely fortified and linked to the divine. Even now, as you listen to my words, you may feel the weight of your trip, the times you screamed out for company, for someone to genuinely understand you, and only received silence. Yet, that quiet was God's voice leading you closer to Him. The anguish of solitude has been the pressure that has shaped you into the vessel you were always intended to be. Just like a diamond develops under pressure in darkness, you are being altered in this secret region. Do not oppose this seclusion. The chosen one. Don't lament the peaceful seasons. Instead, lean toward them. Embrace the isolation. It is a precious offering from the divine. This is where you will get the knowledge, courage, and clarity you need for your next quest. You are now hidden, but this will not last forever. You are being consecrated and set aside so that when the time comes, you will emerge as a spiritual leader, completely equipped for the challenges ahead. The chosen one. The divine has you covered, protected, and kept. No throng can provide what the private spot with God does. This is why you were pushed away from the commotion. Why were specific persons removed? Why has the entrance to the crowd stayed closed? You are in spiritual quarantine, not for punishment, but for protection. And when the time comes, when you are properly strengthened, you will be released back into the world. Not as someone looking for approval from the crowd, but as someone striding courageously with purpose, unshaken, steadfast, and divinely inspired. Stay with me, the chosen one. In the following revelation, we'll go even further into how your empathetic sensitivity is essential to your holy journey. Chosen one of the reasons you can't be around a lot of people is your high empathic sensitivity. You are not like the majority. You were born with a heart and soul that can sense things far beyond the surface. You are unusually sensitive. It's spiritual. It is the profound and holy capacity to absorb sensations and comprehend invisible emotions. You are surrounded by thoughts and energy. This sensitivity was not anything you learned. It is something the Almighty instilled in your spirit. However, like with other divine talents, it is bestowed to a selected heavyweight. You've most certainly gone into a room and sensed a sense of weight in the air. The quiet tensions that others pretend don't exist, or the anguish hidden beneath someone's artificial grin. Others may ignore these currents, but you are not. You are attuned to the frequency of human souls and the forces around them. The energy that others carry, whether it be worry, fear, jealousy, sadness, or wrath, strikes you like a wave. It passes through your soul unfiltered, often leaving you weary and overwhelmed. This is the quiet weight you carry as a chosen one. You may have observed that crowded venues, boisterous events, and hectic surroundings tire you out far faster than others. While others may laugh, socialize, and walk around freely, you are quietly digesting a plethora of feelings and energy that do not belong to you. This represents the empathetic weight of the selected ones. Without limits, you risk absorbing the emotional baggage of people around you. This is why the divine has drawn you to seclusion, peaceful locations, and holy settings where your soul may be cleaned and safeguarded. The chosen one, you are not merely sympathetic for no cause. This sensitivity is a heavenly tool that allows you to interpret spiritual landscapes and distinguish between truth and falsehood. It enables you to discern people and intentions, even if their words portray a different tale. It prepares you to defend yourself against spiritual assaults and guide others who are lost in darkness. However, this degree of awareness is precisely why you cannot just exist among the masses without consequence. Have you ever noticed how people come to you with their issues, scars, and unresolved emotions, sometimes without even asking? That is because you have the energy of a healer, a vessel of light to which people are attracted. They perceive that you are conveying understanding, serenity, and comfort. However, the selected one poses a risk since, without sufficient spiritual boundaries, you might easily absorb what they unleash on you. You might leave discussions or surroundings feeling tired, nervous, or weighty, and wonder why you're experiencing feelings that aren't your own. This is the cross that empaths must carry as chosen ones. Your heart is inherently open, loving, and strongly linked to the spiritual world. However, the world is not friendly to those who expose their hearts. It is rife with individuals projecting their grief onto others, unintentionally conveying their traumas as spiritual baggage. And since your soul is receptive, you absorb the vibrations that surround you. The more you stay in these depleting surroundings, the more your energy gets entangled in cords that were never intended for you. The chosen one. This is why your seclusion is not only heavenly protection, but also important for the health of your spirit. In isolation, you allow yourself the opportunity to discharge the energy you've absorbed and reset your soul. The Most High summons you to holy places where you may reconnect with Him, cleanse your field, and replenish your inner light. The silence strengthens, refines, and protects your empathetic talent. Understand that although this talent is tremendous, it may also become a weakness if not managed properly. Empathic sensitivity has both advantages and disadvantages. Without awareness, you risk being controlled by energy, vampires, or others who feed off your light while leaving you spiritually drained. This is why the divine has put a tremendous urge on you to set spiritual boundaries. It is not selfish to save your energy. It is necessary for your survival and the accomplishment of your divine destiny. The chosen one. Your empathy enables you to experience the world fully. But remember that you are not here to carry the globe. You are here to lead it toward illumination and to travel your path with knowledge and insight. The Most High has given you this sensitivity to assist you fulfill your destiny. But He has also instructed you to withdraw when necessary and to say no. When your spirit detects a trap, it withdraws. When the environment gets too poisonous, protect your heart, since it is the source of your life. The selected ones tread a delicate line between compassion and exhaustion. You are supposed to love and to protect. You are supposed to heal, but also to keep your own peace. The divine does not want you to be involved in every conflict or burdened by every cry you hear. This is why you're often directed away from huge gatherings, hectic situations, and exhausting relationships. It is a perfect technique to save your essence for those times when your light is most required. So we selected one. If you've ever wondered why you feel so heavy after certain social engagements, why you prefer to be alone with your thoughts, or why you need calm areas where your soul may breathe freely, understand that this is your sensitive, talented job. Is your holy sensitivity raising an alarm? Knowing when to offer and when to recede requires a tremendous deal of intelligence. Knowing when to pour and when to replenish is useful. Your sensitive heart is one of your greatest assets. However, it is also one of the reasons the divine has distinguished you from the crowd. One person has chosen to trust in this separation. Accept your sensitivity as a great weapon, but preserve it fiercely. The weight you bear is heavy, yet it is sacred. And in the stillness of your alone, You will discover the courage and clarity you need to complete your holy journey. Let us now go ahead. Choose one to investigate why your purpose demands this clarity and why distractions must be removed from your path in order to complete what you were put here to achieve. The chosen one. Your task is unlike any other. God has picked you to carry out the holy duty. The criteria include accuracy, attention, and unflinching clarity. The goal you bear is holy, and the path you take needs a clarity of mind and soul that cannot be obscured by the cacophony of the world. This is why the divine has drawn you to a path where distractions must be eliminated. It's not because you don't want to be with others. It's because your mission is too important to be diluted by chaotic energies and global chaos. The chosen one. Clarity is the spiritual compass. Without it, even the most brilliant of the selected might wander aimlessly, losing sight of the road that has been set out for them. The world around you is full of noise, with voices pushing you left and right, encouraging you to follow trends, lose yourself in transient pleasures, and blend in with the collective fog. But you were not instructed to move with the throng. You were invited to rise beyond it and walk in harmony with the divine rhythm, which guided your every action. Your mission cannot afford hindrance. Every discussion you have, every place you visit, and every individual you interact with, these all have the potential to strengthen or impair your spiritual perspective. So the Most High, in His infinite wisdom, has placed you on a road of clarity via separation. Isolation produces a peaceful environment in which God's voice can be heard above the noise. Heavenly instructions may be imparted without distortion, and your spiritual discernment is sharpened. The chosen one. You've probably observed how quickly your energy gets dispersed when you're drawn into too many social groups or locations. It gets more difficult to hear the divine's whispers. When you're surrounded by distractions, God's intentions for your life demand you to remain laser-focused. Your call is not light. It bears weight. The Most High has entrusted you with breaking generational curses, mending injured souls, and guiding others out of spiritual darkness. You cannot achieve this goal if your view is clouded by worldly noise amid the serenity of isolation. You begin to get heavenly download messages and confirmations that you would never notice in the midst of the throng, while others become lost in the cacophony. You have been called to learn the art of quiet. In this solitude, the blueprint for your next action is revealed, and divine strategy is instilled in your soul, where the most lofty discloses things that the people do not see. The chosen one. Distractions are one of the most powerful techniques the adversary used to distract individuals on important missions. If the opponent is unable to completely stop you, it will attempt to distract you with superfluous noise, unaligned personnel, and meaningless engagements that drain your energy and time. But your soul is already marked for clarity. That is why you often experience discomfort or restlessness when you are immersed in situations or relationships that serve no greater purpose. That's the divine pulling you back into alignment. Your spiritual mission demands you to see through illusions and discover truth in a world saturated with deception. To do this, you will require clarity like a sharp sword in war. Your task may include guiding others, disclosing secret information, or dismantling misconceptions that have held souls in slavery. You cannot do this when surrounded by chaos. You must be watchful. Your eyes are locked on the highest point. Your ears were tuned to His voice. The world will attempt to entice you with noise, diversions disguised as possibilities. But remember, you selected one. Not all doors that open are from God. Not every group is your tribe, and not all connections are intended to last. This is why the divine has been so deliberate in keeping you apart, drawing you away from people and places that may muddle your mission. The more your spiritual awareness, the more important this insight becomes. Think about the great spiritual fighters and leaders who came before you. They were formed in seclusion, serenity, and peaceful connection with the divine. Moses got his assignment from the mountain alone. Elijah heard God's voice, not in an earthquake or a fire, but in a quiet, tiny voice. Christ retired to lonely areas to pray before carrying out important aspects of His mission. The trend is evident. Clarity is born in seclusion. The chosen one. Clarity protects, guides, and empowers you. When your view is clear, no weapon made against you will thrive. When your mind is clear, the enemy's traps become evident. When your heart aligns with the divine truth, heaven orders your movements. This is why the divine insists on separating you from the pandemonium, the chatter, the spiritual ignorance of the people. Your goal is too important to be diluted by earthly concerns. You are being honed in isolation so that when you come out into the fullness of your mission, you will walk with heavenly authority and unshakable guidance. The selected ones are supposed to walk clearly, talk with authority, and act with purpose. That clarity can only be discovered in the hidden space with God, not amid the cacophony of the throng. So trust the method you've selected. Don't be afraid of solitude. Do not despise the silence. These locations are where you will be prepared to do your best job. Your mission is emerging, and you will soon be called upon to carry it out with precision. But for the time being, don't move. Maintain attention and alignment. We're going to go deeper. The chosen one. There is a cause for your separation, and divine timing is working behind the scenes to raise you at the right time. Stay with me. Your next epiphany is approaching. The chosen one. Pay careful attention. There is a spiritual rhythm that guides your existence. A heavenly timing that beyond all human comprehension. You've been separated for a purpose, and the timing isn't arbitrary. It's divinely arranged. Every time you've felt like an outsider, every season of solitude you've experienced has been a direct consequence of God's hand working over your life, aligning you with His perfect plan. Separation is one of the most effective means of protection and preparation for a chosen one. The most lofty does not function on human timescales, but others rush to compare and try to push that destiny into being. You have been set on a divine timetable that will develop in accordance with heavenly design. This is why some relationships have ended, doors have abruptly closed, and you have been drawn away from circles you formerly relied on. The divine has been trimming your road, taking away everything and everyone who cannot accompany you into the following season. The chosen one. Divine timing is seldom convenient. It does not meet your aspirations or cultural norms. You may have wondered why some benefits appeared to be delayed, or why you had to suffer lengthy periods of seclusion while others thrived in their relationships and groups. However, you must recognize that your existence is guided by purpose rather by the world's ephemeral timetables. The Most High has concealed you because you are being readied for something much bigger than what you can see now. This separation is a component of your elevation. When you are selected, you are not expected to relocate like everyone else. The supernatural removes you from situations that no longer benefit your spiritual development, from individuals who no longer share your enthusiasm, and from circumstances that might jeopardize your objective. God's timetable ensures that you are not only prepared, but also completely strengthened before being disclosed to the world in the fullness of your destiny. The chosen one. Many people around you believe they have control over their lives by using force and manipulation. But you know better. Divine interruptions have shaped your life, causing plans to fall, ties to dissolve, and routes to alter unexpectedly. They were not failures. They were heavenly redirections. They were indicators that heaven was acting on your side, keeping you away from situations that might muddle your vision and derail your mission. Divine timing also shows who is destined to walk with you. The more you progress spiritually, the more the divine filters your life. Those who formerly supported you may abandon you, and those you least anticipate may be summoned to your help at just the appropriate time. This is the wonder of being selected by God. You don't always know how or when, but you are asked to believe in the divine orchestration behind the scenes of your chosen one. You've probably seen how some individuals were eliminated just when you were entering a deeper stage of your spiritual enlightenment. That is not a coincidence. When you start to soar, the divine makes sure that no distractions or harmful energy follow you into your next chapter. Some separations occur before you notice the risk. Others come as terrible endings, teaching you to submit. What? It no longer serves your purpose. The multitude may rush forward, but you are supposed to wait on the Most High. Divine timing requires preparation and harmony. During this concealed season, the Creator is refining you, honing your discernment, strengthening your abilities, and developing your character. When the time comes, you will go into your job completely equipped, alert, and protected. Understand the selected one. Divine timing also serves as a test of faith. It tests your patience, strengthens your faith, and requires your submission. The waiting period is not considered idle time. It is a holy place where you are formed in spiritual fire. It is here that your bond with the divine becomes unbreakable, where you learn to walk by faith, not sight. The world may perceive you as stationary, but heaven sees you as strengthened. The chosen one. Separation does not indicate rejection. It represents selection. The Most High isolates His chosen ones so that they might be elevated in due season. When you are isolated from the throng, you are positioned. Hear God's voice clearly to obtain divine tactics and build the insight required for the journey ahead. Those who are not spiritually connected with your destiny will fade away, while those divinely sent to aid you will emerge at the appropriate moment. There is strength in trusting the process. The divine is never late or early, simply completely on time. The anguish of separation is just fleeting, but the benefits of divine timing are forever. You'll look back on this season and realize that every delay, detour, and disconnect was a stepping stone toward your success. The chosen one. When the divine finally exposes you, when He leads you to the pinnacle of your purpose, you will realize why you had to travel alone for so long. You will realize that the solitude was never intended to be a punishment. It was about preparing and preserving. You will ascend with the force, authority, and spiritual understanding that only solitary and divine separation could provide you. So do not detest the season. Embrace the time. Trust the pruning. Recognize that the most powerful entity is orchestrating your journey. The separation is a sign that you are destined for greatness, for leadership, for spiritual influence. The chosen one. The hour for revelation is approaching. When it arrives, you will stand firm and unshaken, knowing that everything happened just as it was supposed to. Now, as we prepare to conclude this message, let us seal it with a word of empowerment. There is one more fact you must bear as you embark on this holy trip. Stay with me. The following words will fortify your soul and clarify your comprehension. The chosen one. You have been set apart, not discarded. You've been hidden, not forgotten. Every moment of seclusion, each season of separation, has been a heavenly investment in your development, your strength and clarity. The Most High has been polishing you in quiet so that when the time comes, you may move with authority, power, and purpose. You're not here to blend in. You are here to guide, awaken, and change. Walk confidently, knowing that your journey is sacred. Trust that your steps are in order. Your purpose is divine, and your energies are safe. Don't let anybody make you question your value or calling. God picked you, and nothing in this world can alter that. If this message resonated with your soul, comment here to let everyone know that the selected ones are rising. Share your ideas. Subscribe and remain connected because your adventure is not done. You are a source of light in this planet. A spiritual fighter, your moment is approaching. This is something you should constantly remember. You were picked over stand tall. Your destiny awaits.